What I have here are high-performing smartphones of this year. One's a flagship and the other is not. What's the reason for us doing this? Pricing. The HTC U11 edges out at 34,500 pesos with 128GB/6GB RAM variant, whilst the Xperia XZs used to sit at 31,500 but is now at 26,500 pesos. That is all according to Widget City's website, and not to mention, it is the 64GB variant. With the HTC U11, other than the usual, we get a cleaning cloth, hard plastic casing, a USB Type-C headset, yes, a USB Type-C headset, USB Type-C to 3.5mm female adapter, its 12.5 variable power adapter, and a USB Type-C cable. As for the Xperia XZs, we get a 3.5mm headset, a 7.5W power adapter, and a Type-C cable. While the XZs and the U11 doesn't share a spec of similarity, I find both to be beautiful in their own languages. While they both have 2.5D glass, the U11's more prominent chamfered glass edges are better to hold and look at. The sides of the U11 present a rather confusing and awkward look, akin to faking to having heard someone and just laughing afterwards without any afterthought to what they may have said. Flipping both over presents a reflective difference between the two. While I do find myself being amused with reflective backings, smudges and fingerprints are a big no-no. Moving on to handling and grip, the Xperia XZs provides a more secure feeling because of its flat sides and metal backing. As for SIM and microSD access, the XZs wins it hands down for the lack of need of a pin ejector. Even with the stark difference in resolution, the XZs's tri-luminous display remains unmatched in vibrance and accuracy without sacrificing dynamic range and temperature. The U11's Super LCD 5 leans into a warmer tint, which some may find annoying. The difference in detail is hard to point out at this form factor during regular usage, but even with the U11's 1440p display, I find myself using the XZs more. With both running ROMs with Android 7.1 as the base, it all boils down to what interface is easier to use: HTC's Sense UI or Xperia's still unnamed ROM. Because of the 1440p panel, navigation and reading are made easier on the U11. Sense UI's app drawer made well use of its real estate with a scrolling function, making it easier when searching for a specific app. Not to mention, HTC Alexa is pretty much useless if your country cannot be serviced by Amazon directly, such as Philippines. While the Edge Sense or Squeeze to Appease function may seem overboard and gimmicky for others, I actually find it useful, let's say, for opening the camera in one go. Talking about camera UI, the HTC U11 provides a better range of options while still remaining the less cluttered of the two. What the Xperia XZs wins is in the number of features there are. Still, I hope that once they move to Oreo, the 4K video option can be accessed along with the video tab. The Xperia ROM may have remained untouched that much for the past few years, but it has proven to be still efficient to some extent at its current iteration. Still, even after spending time with both, the HTC Sense UI wins in my book. Even with the U11's superiority in the Android domain, do mind that it is 8,000 pesos more expensive than the XZs. Computing their price-to-performance ratio gave me a clear result that the U11 is worth more, getting by at least a point per peso. Both respond at the same pace, but considering earlier results, the U11 wins this round. Before we get to actual results, here's a quick rundown of each phone's cameras. Putting specs aside, let's move to actual results. Under daylight, difference in detail is non-existent until zoomed in. It is only that colors look much more natural on the XZs. Be reminded that the XZs can only shoot with HDR on at 8 megapixels and below because of its XMR sensor's low light capabilities. After dawn, the U11 produced spectacular results, especially in details due to its f1.7 aperture, but the XZs wins in both color and exposure. Speed-wise though, the U11 wins because of its ultra-focus tech, which is mind-blowingly fast even in low light situations. Moving on to video recording, with both being 4K capable, what I would call the 3 C's of mobile cinematography, consistency, color, and compensation, is definitely on the XZS's favor. Noise is too distorted on the U11's end, and details are also over-sharpened beyond the point of realism. And also, just to mention, the XZS has the motion eye capability, allowing it to capture super slow motion videos along with predictive capture. While both do a decent job at selfies, the U11's more refined post-processing and more natural colors win it for me.
Going along with my standard front camera test in this case for the XZS and the U11, we see here that the Xperia XZS actually produces the one with the more exposure and better contrast overall, while the U11 presents better detail and color overall. And as for stabilization, we see here that the Xperia XZS does better in this aspect, maybe due to its X-More sensor or whatever it is on the front camera right now. And this is not to say that the U11 doesn't have built-in image stabilization. It may has, I think, EIS. I can't tell exactly, but so far so good. If you're going for the both are pretty good, and if you're going for the details, go for the U11. Especially if you do intend to do vlogs, when you're going to be doing a lot of motion, the Xperia XZS is your better bet.
Here is the lowdown. With DSEE-HX, the Sony Xperia XZS wins flat out in terms of clarity, and for some reason, the high suffer a lot on the U11 speakers. What the U11 is better at is providing a larger room volume at max volume. Despite not having a lot in difference, HTC has optimized their software better than Sony's. And also, with its 12.5 variable power adapter, it charges at least 140% faster than the Sony Xperia XZS's 7.5 watt power adapter. Against the current flagship, I do find myself favoring the XZS more, not just because of the price, but also because of the numerous advantages it holds over the U11. What about you though? Are you for the HTC U11 or the Sony Xperia XZS too? Let us know in the comments below.